Dr. Jennifer Harvey is an award-winning educator and author of the book Raising White Kids.
Why are white people generally so uncomfortable talking about race?
This conversation following weeks of protests throughout the country. The League of Education Voters called it Parenting for Racial Justice. Dr. Harvey shared practical things parents can do to help children of all ages. Tip number 1, see color.
Colorblindness is a kind of aggression. It's because it's ignoring what people of color have told us is true, which is I want my identity recognized and acknowledged and celebrated. So it's just, we really need to explicitly reject it at this point. It doesn't work, and it's actually not a compliment.
Tip number 2, talk about race. And she says there is no too young, and you can use books to help.
If I want to raise children who believe in the value of sharing, for example, I don't wait until my maybe 13-year-old is conceptually able to choose her behavior around sharing, right? I start talking about sharing when she's a toddler. We have studies that show that children know by the ages of 4 or 5 that they're not supposed to talk about race with adults. That's a huge red flag because we don't want our kids learning from other children about race, right?
Number 3, read books with diverse characters and talk about what you are seeing without giving meaning.
That little girl looks like she might be African American and she has dark brown, beautiful skin. And that little girl looks like she might be white American and her skin looks peach and light. Like just, oh, and she's wearing a backpack and she's going to school. You know, it's like a normalizing behavior.
The 4th tip involves modeling.
How do we teach our kids to address racism when they see it?
Yeah, so all the ways we teach them other things. So many of us know the scenario where we get together as extended family, someone says something racist, we all go silent because we want to avoid a conflict, and we tell ourselves, well, we're never going to change, Aunt Sue's mind anyway, so we're just going to let this go. The conflict isn't worth it. Guess what our children just saw us model?
Silence is complicity.
That's right. And they go, oh, when you hear racism, you're supposed to be quiet about it and look the other way, right?
The final tip has to do with action. Dr. Harvey says it doesn't have to be a protest in the traditional sense.
Our kids can make signs, whether even if they don't go to the protest. They can make a sign and put it in your window of your house.
The important thing, she says, is to do something and do it together.